Hello participants, welcome back to this continued series on Salesforce developer interview questions. So now the question that we are going to look at is what is transaction control in Apex. So basically what happens is if you have multiple DML statements which are part of one logical business transaction, that is called as a complete block of transaction. You want to control those. Like suppose for example, we want to create an account and then we want to create some related contacts as part of the same transaction. We use this transaction control. Now suppose if the contact creation fails, suppose 2-3 contacts we want to create. So in that case what we want to do is we don't want to keep the account created before that. Like if you don't use transaction control, you would have created the account and then you'll be going ahead and creating the contacts. So only one contact errored out, but the rest of the things will still be there, right? So in that case what we want is that logical block of transaction should be rolled back. So for that we use something called as save points and rollbacks. Okay, that is transaction control is in DML statements for challenges other than governor limits. So far we were looking at list management and all, but this is for, this is more of a business logic transaction control. Okay, this is not for the DML limits and all that. This is more from a logical transaction block of transaction that you want to be complete. Transaction DML 1, 2, 3. You don't want any of them to be missed out. Even if one of them gets missed out, you want to roll back. So you use database class for this purpose. So what are the most used methods? You'll use something called as setSavePoint and rollback to SavePoint. So setSavePoint will create a save point before you start doing a DML, and rollback will, in case of any error, it will roll back the transactions. Let's take a look. The next question. Interviewer will say, okay, that is all fine. Now write a simple code and show me what is transaction control. So this is what you are going to do. You are first going to create, using the database setSavePoint class, you will create a method, you will create a save point. So at this point a save point gets established, and then you put all the other transactions that you want inside a try block, and here you are creating a new account and then you are trying to create a new contact. So if something goes wrong in this creation of contacts, it will automatically go to the exception. And what we were looking out for, we want to roll back everything including the account which has got created and this line. So it will go into the exception, and in the exception if you see here, just 1 minute. Yeah, so I was just trying to show you this. Like if we go into the exception when creating a contact, so it will say database.rollback to save point. So what will happen is all the transactions that have been set up till here, they will all be rolled back. So whatever transacts, so it will say database.rollback. So all the transactions after this line will get rolled back. So the contact and the account. So this is why we use transaction control, and the methods that we use are database.setSavePoint to set the save point and database.rollback to roll back the transaction in case of errors. Now there could be some S objects in Salesforce which you cannot do DML at all. Okay, there are some tables in Salesforce, mostly system tables, which you cannot do any insert, update, delete. Okay, but you can use the query. So some standards interview may say show me at least 5 of those such objects. So you can say profile table, record type, territory 2, user account team member, static resource. You can always query them to get the data. And suppose they ask you, like, so how do I see them in the, you can of course see in the schema builder, or you can, if it is not, you can also go to the workbench. Workbench Salesforce, log in there and you can see the system tables. Okay, you can always query them. So if you go over here and log in to your org, you will be able to see all the tables. Sometimes some of the tables, all the tables may not be visible over here in the object manager. Like if you search for profile, it will not show you the table. Okay, but if you want to see that table, you can always go over here and search for all the system tables. Okay, so if you see, you'll see the profile tables and you can see the columns in that, what are the fields in that. Okay, so these tables cannot be, you cannot